I saw this on the Twitter page or the X page for the Art of Dialogue. Came up on my feed, and I wanted to give my opinion on this. It's the actor, guess Djimon Hounsou. I think that's his name. Yeah, Djimon Hounsou from he's been in movies like Amistad. What else was he in? Shazam, stuff like that. So I'm gonna play this and then kind of give my perspective on it.
I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business,
I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, with two Oscar nominations, many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living. I'm definitely underpaid.
how has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see since you started out to what's being produced now?
I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I just came off the boat and off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
Growing up, you're one of the first big black actors I saw in big budget films. So it's mind boggling to me.
But that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. You have to cope with it and survive the best way you can.
He said you have to go with it. I guess thing is, man, like to me, hey, this guy financially at this point, he's if this what this say is true, the person looked up as. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. It's not that big of a deal, but I'll do it for research purposes. But for him to say you just have to deal with it, my whole thing is yeah, you deal with it, but um, to me, my whole thing is to come up with a way to live a prosperous life without some of these people. It's the weirdest thing though, because it's like these people seem to love white people so much, and I don't know if that's maybe the correct way, but the way to put it, but they seem to need some kind of validation from white people, or seem to be unwilling to try to do something that's separate from what they do, and only doing what they do when you need it. But because if you need money, so you need to take the job, you take the job. But and this is easier said than done. And this is not that I do this all the time, but ideally, in my right mind, yeah, I'm thinking about how I can make money, having to be around these people, but also investing the money I do have, some of it, into ways to be independent of these people who clearly don't like you and don't value you the way you value yourself. I don't know. It's this thing though. To It's weird because they'll say a lot of people. You'll see a lot of people from different races that are non-white. They'll say, "F this black person, F this Mexican person, F these Indians. We'll leave our homeland." All just to be accepted by people that hate them and that lied to them and that took things away from them. it's the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing to me. I'm just gonna Google his net worth, and this is from AI Overview. It just says there isn't much information about Djimon Hounsou's net worth, but here's some related information about the Oscar-nominated actor. See, AI can't even give me the answers I need. Like, what is this? But it is something. Celebrity net worth. It says he has a net worth of $4 million. So I'm not sure how they come up with that, because another article in hotnewhiphop.com says he accumulated a substantial net worth of approximately $35 million by 2024. So I'm not sure. The thing is, though, whatever he's making, I guess he say it's not enough. So I'm wondering, like, what that actually means to him. As far as he can't make it in Los Angeles, but could he make it in like Kentucky? So I'm kind of curious about that. But let me also go back to some other things that he was saying here.
I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business,
I've been in this business.
So he's been in the business for 30 years, and the thing is, when I see a lot of these Hollywood actors and some other people, sometimes it's easy to assume that they're all rich, but it seems to be like a lot of other professions. You have the top earners, and then you have the people that you know kind of do good for themselves, and then the people that are at the bottom who may or may not last and may or may not make a lot of money in the industry.
And making films now over 2 decades, and still, with Oscar nominations, many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially.
He's been in a lot of movies though. He was in Guardian of the Galaxy. He was in A Quiet Place 2 and 3. Well, in the prequel.
Actually, to make a living, I,
Well, see, my thing is like it's something like this. Like I said, if somebody was to ask me, like, and it's easier said than done, but biggest thing is he should be trying to work with other people in Africa, because it seems to have to be some kind of combination of doing it for the art and doing it for the money, because you got to invest instead of if you don't feel like these people these people actually are paying you what you think you should be paid, then you're gonna have to go somewhere else. And the thing is, it's almost like people don't see that you don't have to go with the white people to really make a lot of money. Because we have examples of Tyler Perry, but a lot of that is hard. Is just you have to have a lot of discipline. Tyler Perry went broke and was living out of his car, so that's a lot to go through. You know, so but when you already got a name, it should be easier. But I don't know, man. Like, gotta be from what I've seen. Like, I don't say gotta be, but it seems like it would be best to, or a better way, or another way to do things is to do some things for the art and some things for the money, and whatever you get, you try to use your clout. And that's another thing. They gotta create partnerships with different companies, sponsors, things of that nature. You got to be able to sell ads to these people. Um, got to leverage your audience, and a lot of that is, I guess, people want to. Well, I don't know. I don't say I guess people want to, but you have to learn a lot of that stuff too, and then you have to be willing to do it or trust somebody to do it. Sometimes you can't trust the people to do the job right. That's why it has to be some kind of accountability measures put into place and timelines, so that way the investment, and then investment has to be something you willing to lose. Let me see what else here.
Definitely underpaid.
How has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see?
Now he said, "How has Hollywood changed as far as African representation?" When I hear that, to me, it's like, why do you feel? And I can understand if they like, hey, we're gonna spend some money, then we need to see ourselves in some of these movies, and I can get that. But at the same time, the Africans have to do what they have to do to make sure they are represented, not relying on racists or people that clearly don't, even if they're not racist, they clearly not, you're not their priority, and nor should you be. Their own people should be your priority. I had this one lady tell me about some Mexicans and getting a job at a Mexican restaurant, and how they typically don't hire outside because they rather employ they nieces and nephews and cousins and sisters and brothers. And that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if they treat you disrespectfully, then maybe you shouldn't visit their establishments and go somewhere else. But the whole thing is, if the competition is doing something, you should probably duplicate that and then try to do it better for a lower price. This is what Jeff Bezos says: lower, faster, and at a better price. Well, no, lower at a better price. Well, no, I'm sorry, lower, faster, and I forget the other thing. What was it? Lower, faster. I don't think the quality. It could be a quality though, but and the thing is people copy a lot of what Black Americans do anyway. So to me, it's like, why be so quick to get short change? Because the thing is, if you do something independent, it is a time to partner with these companies. But if you do something independent, you may or may not make as much, but you get to keep more though, and you don't have to be. And some people might not mind being slaves and beholden, because some of these people that come out of these neighborhoods, whether it be the inner city, middle class, suburbs, some of these people, like, they real like haters. So, and they followers and simps, so they don't mind selling out because they have a grudge with people, especially if they felt a certain way or they got treated a certain way. These people have delusions of grandeur, and they think they have these egos. And then if they happen to, and then the whole thing is, some of these people will make it doing some real weird stuff, because real weird stuff happens out there because a lot of these people want to have something over you. I remember I was helping out a politician, and they was when I was basically interviewing with them, we were at lunch, and they're like, "Yeah, sometimes you might have to take an envelope here and there." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, but at the same time, I'm listening to that and like, oh, okay, yeah, they wouldn't mind having me be the fall guy."
Since you started out to what's being produced now?
I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking.
In the Golden Globes, I'm wondering, like, who actually is on the Golden Globe committee, because it seems like political. As I get older, it seems political and like it's agenda based. Because I'm thinking it's like, when I was younger, I'm thinking it's like, fellow actors, maybe directors, art instructors, people that actually run acting studios. Let me see who actually picks. See if I can see that. Said who's in charge of the Golden Globe? As president of the Golden Globes, Helen Honey, Hoehne, leads one of the world's most recognizable entertainment awards and has overseen its recent restructuring, resulting in substantial growth in size diversity and global engagement. So I guess she's the one who actually oversees everything, and then they have a board of directors. Let me see how the Golden Globes selected. It says ballots to select the nominees are sent to voters in November, along with a reminder list of eligible film and TV programs. So I guess you have to be on some kind of, you have to register, I guess, if you have to be if you can be eligible. And it says each HFPA member then votes for their top 5 choices in each category, numbering them 5 to 1, with 5 being their top choice.
About the fact that they thought that I had just came off the boat and off the streets, that I had just came off the boat and off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor.
So he said he was underpaid, but yeah, he been nominated a few times. So maybe his roles that they see he can't play.
The fact that they thought that
It's just another thing. Like if you can't, like, this is the weird thing. Like with the races, what they did is they were able to get people to come together that probably normally wouldn't like each other, but they have this other group that they can hate and feel they're better than. Because typically, it's not all that easy to get people to just come together. Sometimes for a good enough cause, but to start something new, if he wanted to really do something where it's like a Black Hollywood or African Hollywood or things like that here that's successful, there's a lot that would have to go into it. They would have to do a lot of studying of what worked in Hollywood, what is heard in Hollywood. But I heard Stephen Baldwin say G movies do good. So and then you might as well do propaganda. I mean, this stuff can be done if it's marketed enough. If it's marketed good enough, a lot of stuff can just take off. Like Squid Game, I've never seen it, but a lot of people talk about it, and most people are followers anyway. It seems. Well, I won't say most people. I don't know that, but a lot of people are followers.
I'm still struggling trying to make a living. I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I had just came off the boat.
I wonder who he's talking about when he said they talk about the fact that he just came off the boat. Who told him that?
And off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism, we should.
The thing is, if there was a black equivalent to what they consider white Hollywood, and the money was the same, and the prestige was the same, then these wouldn't be talking points for people, or these wouldn't be complaints.
pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
Growing
And it's like, cause for me, I'm thinking like, okay, well, man, since I've been born, racism been around, and it don't look like it's going nowhere. And people really don't want to change. There's some people that just don't want to change. So instead of trying to change these people, got to do something to, basically get away from these people and do something better than these people because they're haters. I would just use it as the same, um, criteria as dealing with a hater. But it's something about it where it seems like either they don't think it can be done or they don't think it's good enough, is what it seems to be.
Conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that.
Well, I mean, why would a white person need to put a black person as a lead?
Conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
growing up, you're one of the first big black actors I saw in big budget films. So it's mind boggling to me.
But that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. You have to cope with it and survive the best way you can.
Yeah, man. See, like it ain't what it appeared to be for Black Hollywood out there. And this isn't the first black actor to say this. Terrence Howard, um, Taraji P Henson, others. So my thing is, get with Tyler Perry, or that's one person. But there is like black talent in Hollywood because you got Ryan Coogler. I mean, he makes some pretty good movies. Um, the dude that did New York's Finest, those are some pretty good movies. So it's not like it's not like, and that's the other thing when I hear the first black this and that. It's like, dude, it's, of course black people can do anything anybody else can do. Just have to do it and get support and have investors, continue to learn, work on your craft, and support. But I mean, it's either said or done.
It just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom
Is this guy a good actor? I'm trying to think. Is he a good actor? I guess he a decent enough
we
actor.
should pay any.
So I guess he's a decent enough actor. It's about another thing is that can you bring people to to the theater or to get them to buy the movie or watch the movie, and objectively he's not like somebody like Will Smith or The Rock or Denzel who people actually go to see. I mean, he is a um, recognizable actor though, but I don't know where he fits as far as he's not at the top, and I don't know what he's like for at least for black people. I mean, he's known in the black community, I would think, but as far as outside of that, how many people really know him? I mean, he's got to be known outside, but what do they really think of him? As far as do they really see him as a leading actor? Because I don't really see him in a lot of leading roles. He's more in a supporting role, but he can do some films with in Africa. He could do some films with some black directors and writers, and he can be the lead, and that would break up his stock. That's just my perspective on it, real quick. When I saw this, and just wanted to say something about it. Doesn't make it right or wrong, good or bad, true or false. So it's just my perspective.